yeah, we are so back. New season, Saturday streams. We got the rebrand now. Christian and Nick here, Psychic Hoops, because we got the crystal ball. We look into it and we tell y'all what's going to happen in college basketball because we grind for this shit. We love it. Thank you all for being here. Make some noise in the chat. If you're here, Nick, how you feeling this morning, my man?
I'm feeling great, Chris. Not the usual location, as everyone can tell. I'm in the middle of moving, so I'm not at my home base for the weekend. But we make it work. So
Who's here? Cole Adams, what a dog. Twitter legend. He's got his coffee. I do too. Cheers. Austin, great to see you. Thanks for coming. Ryan, thanks for coming. Great to see you. We have 4 key games that we're definitely going to talk about. We'll talk about some others as well. Before we get into that, though, I need some activity in the chat. I need some energy. I need y'all to tell me what games you want to hear about. I want to hear what bets you guys have placed, and just get active. Give me some energy. First stream of the season, and I want some love because I don't know. I'm excited, and talk to me nice. Who's here? Few people think. Dude, I mean, let's get right into the Auburn plane. It was probably what we were going to lead with. So here's what we know. We know that yesterday it got turned around, right? We know it got turned around because of a kerfuffle. And then we get the audio coming out. In the audio, that pilot sounds very serious, right? He goes like, there are basketball players fighting on this plane. There are basketball players fighting on this plane. And like, Nick, what I want to ask you as someone who's played basketball at a higher level than me, like, can you think about how this, from a team dynamic perspective, like how any type of beef can actually lead to the point that it becomes a physical altercation? Because even if guys are jawing at each other, like Bruce Pearl is on this plane, Janai Broom is on this plane, plenty of assistants are on this plane. Can you be like, yo, like, shut up, sit down? Like, how do we actually get to a point where there's fisticuffs? It's crazy to me that a program that just came off a 50-point win, like vibe should be good. Bro, what are we fighting about?
It's the most Auburn thing, you know. Like Bruce Pearl I feel like I love Bruce Pearl, but I feel like he never has control of his team. I don't know. But I honestly don't know how how that happens on a plane, dude. Like, I get on a plane when I play college basketball and we just put our AirPods in and got on our cell phones, and then whenever we landed. Like, there was no altercation or beef. Like, it was. But the more concerning thing was, did you see? I don't know his name, but I saw a video on Twitter of number 3 from Auburn.
Yes, I was just about to drop a link in the chat.
That was bad. That was bad. Like, the dude didn't get past the ball, and he just like bends over, puts his hands on his knees.
I'm putting this in the comments, guys. I think you can see that. Click on that Twitter link. It's freshman guard on Auburn, not Pettiford. It was Ja'Kai Howard.
Yeah.
Ian saw it. This dude is just like pouting in the corner while he's not getting the ball.
Yeah, that was some of the most.
That was probably part of the fight.
Bro, that was the most like first grade basketball bullshit thing I've ever seen in my life, I think. Like, that was horrible.
Like, you're a freshman. You're not even pretending that you're like happy that your team's up 40 in game 1. Like, you're lucky for Bruce Pearl to be even getting minutes as a freshman, like, early. And he played like 20 minutes. Like, you're in a rowdy home environment. You play the most bench minutes of anyone on the team, and you're pouting in the corner. I don't want YouTube to kick me off for streaming it. Yeah, and Ryan Kuzer said number 3 is the one who was fighting on the plane. I don't know if he's just joking, but people were definitely rumors like people were saying he was mad that Miles Kelly was hot. Miles Kelly was 7 or 9 from deep, and it's like he was pulling up 40 and he wanted to rock. Like,
yeah.
It is Movember. Honestly.
Do I got to bring the stash back out too?
That is why I have it. Yes, that is why I have it.
Do I got to bring it back out?
Your stash?
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. I'm like style. This is the hair. My longest my hair's ever been in my life. That's why I'm wearing a hat. And the stash, I don't know. I'm just messing around. It's college basketball season. I'm not focused on my style right now. It's about everything. Anyways, let's get into it. I think we should talk about this Auburn-Houston game right now. Make some noise if you guys – is anyone want to back Auburn after that? Because the line hasn't, like, gone crazy since the plane thing happened. I'm curious if anyone in the chat is interested in Auburn. I'm very much interested in Houston. I was interested in Houston pre-plane stuff, and now I'm, like, more interested. Nick, how do you approach the handicap to this game as I get my screen share ready?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even put anything into the whole plane situation. Like anything that's going to happen with players getting suspended and stuff like that's going to happen the next game, not this game. But obviously, it's definitely a distraction to some point. If you do remember, though, there is a little familiarity between these teams.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn played Houston back in the NCAA tournament. Johnny Broome was pretty effective that game. Besides the dude couldn't make a free throw, or else he would have had 20 plus. But he looked good in that game. That was a game they were up at halftime, if you remember.
Yeah, I'm switching to that game.
Yeah, they were up 10. They were up 10 at the break. They looked really good, and then the second half, Houston just does what Houston does, and they like absolutely took over the game, and Auburn folded.
Yeah, Mark Sasser went crazy. They were down.
Sasser and Mark.
They were down 10 at half.
Yeah, they were down 10 at the break. They were getting mopped. It was like ugly too. This one's tough, man. I don't think that Auburn's going to get a lot of looks, a lot of good clean sets. Clearly not like they did against Vermont. I mean, they could just do whatever they wanted versus Vermont. That's not going to happen today. At the end of the day, this like the whole Ken Paul move. I think they moved from like 9-2. If I saw that correctly, like that's a pretty big overreaction. I don't think they're the second best team in the country just because they beat Vermont by 1 million. So I like Houston. I lean Houston for sure.
Yeah, that is correct, Connor. It did open 2.5, but it's not like it moved to 5.5 because of the plane. It moved to 5.5, and then the plane happened. If I'm not mistaken, Nick, right? You saw the same movement? I saw it at 5 yesterday before the plane moved.
Yeah, it only opened 2.5 on DraftKings. Everywhere else kind of opened up around like 4, which was the right number. 2.5 is a horrible number on this game. But yeah, it's 5.5 now, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing 5.5. I saw 4.5 juice like -120 on FanDuel a few minutes ago.
It's a solid 5 now. I'm looking at it. So,
anyways, when we go to this Auburn Houston tournament game, obviously Auburn looks pretty. Auburn has different pieces, but like they kind of play the exact same style as does Houston, right? And other than Roberts and Sharp and Arsenault, and Francis. I mean, Houston still has a lot from that team. Anyways, I understand Broome like looked good a bit and like was obviously drawing fouls, but I still, from a matchup perspective, like Jedi Broome is one of the best bigs in the country. We know that. I still think that I just have unwavering faith, just to quote James Winston, I have unwavering faith in Houston's ability to disrupt post back to the basket bigs, because you're going to harass Jedi Broome. You're going to double him on the catch. You're going to make his life difficult. Like you're not playing him straight up. And while I like guys like Miles Kelly and JP Pegues that they add on, like Baker Mazar has been playing well, like if Jedi Broome is your best player that things go to, like let's not forget when Auburn fell apart against Yale, like I know Broome like statistically had a good game, but there were just so many key possessions in that game where like it didn't go through Broome, or he wasn't the one shooting it. And like, look how efficient he was in that game. Like he should have shot more. We got breaking news from Ja'Kai Howard and Chimas. Okay. So Ja'Kai Howard is no surprise based on the body language. Scroll up in the chat if you got there to that Twitter link I sent. And Jaheim Hudson, he played 15 minutes in the opener. He transferred from SMU, Georgia State before that. I don't know much about him, but it's just weird. Like why are we fighting? Why was there no leadership or coaches that stopped it? Like it, I just don't like it. Do I think Auburn's just going to come out and suck today because of this? Like no, but I already like the side for Houston, because another thing about Houston guys is like every season they start so sharp. Like they start so sharp. It's just you haven't played basketball in months. Like you've played some of these scrimmages, but Houston just they're an absolute freaking machine, and they just harass you, and you haven't seen anything like it. Like, they don't lose early games. Like, okay, they lost this game to Wisconsin. I remember it was that weird Johnny Davis year. He had 30, and Houston couldn't hit a shot. And they were down like 15, 18 points early, and they came back and almost won it. I just have so much trust in Kelvin Sampson to like have the right game plan to slow down Broome. And while I like Auburn's new guards, it's still just a big task to go beat Houston. And then you have like bad Juju Central with a fight on the plane. So I don't love the number of 5.5. I would have liked to get maybe like 4 flat or something, but I still think Houston wins this game. And I don't think I don't think Auburn has a chance to win in the final moment.
Yeah, it comes down to the number for me, and that's why this is my least favorite big game of the day. It's just based off the number. But at the end of the day, but I think both defenses are really good right now. They're both really ahead. Which is, advantage, to the defense because, but anyways, I just think that it's going to be tough shots on both sides of the ball. At the end of the day, I think Houston's going to dominate the glass. And when you can clean up more shots, they're both taking tough shots, advantage Houston. So
Jamal Shed was obviously insane, but I would argue that Houston's going to be better this year. And that's a scary thought. Milos Uzan almost had a triple-double in the opener. I don't know how much Oklahoma everybody watched this year.
I didn't see that.
Milos Uzan is a 6'4" guard who can put the ball on the floor, who can shoot from deep, who can play make, who can rebound. He is do it all. Like, he is a great fit. Okay, we know what LJ Cryer is. Emmanuel Sharp is an absolute sniper. Defends his ass off. Tugler is they really missed Tugler down the stretch last season. We know who Juwan Roberts is, right? Malik Wilson got some important run last year. Arsenault was out. Like, Lath got some run when guys were hurt. Ramon Walker got some run when guys were hurt. Like, this is a Mercy Miller is the freshman that could come on too. Like, this team goes legit 10 deep. They dominate the glass. They have such a strong identity. Cryer and Uzan can always create the end of the shot clock. Sharp can always bail them out with a deep three. Roberts continues to get better as an offensive player. Like, I think Houston's just like not as we're just kind of taking them for granted. I feel like because like, oh, they're gonna beat people by 40, and then like, I mean, it's still year 2 of them in the Big 12, but like, I do think Houston is a clear top 5 team in the sport, and I would not throw Auburn in that category. And I know you rocked Vermont, but here, so my buddy texted me actually and was like, I kind of want to take Vermont. Like, they looked really good against UAB when they played. When Vermont played UAB and they beat Landenborg had a good game, but they still won. And he was like, would you take Vermont? And I'm like, dude, no shot do I want to take a team on a big number against Auburn at home, right? Because I was like, if Auburn's playing a bad SEC, if they were playing Vanderbilt, this is the line, And I understand Vermont's a good mid-major, but it's like Auburn things can just spiral out of control when you play Auburn because of their high pressure, because of how good they are in transition, because like they're just unstoppable sometimes when they run at home. Like, they have a specific formula, and it's led to – remember when South Carolina was, like, ranked and Auburn was 10.5-point favorites, and they won by, like, 25, 30 points last year? Like, they're such a blowout kind of team. Like, you don't want to touch them at home. But this is a semi-away – like, this game is at where the Rockets play, so it's not on campus. But you have the comfortability for Houston. You have the plane drama. You have the fact that Houston, like, figured Auburn out after that slow start and crushed them the rest of the way in that tournament game 2 years ago. And the fact that, like I said, Houston is just a really tough team to play early in the season. They just harass you. Like them and Iowa State. Iowa State is another team that always has, like in the Otzelberger era, like they always start the season strong. In terms of, I mean, the first year. What was that year they started like 11-0? Wasn't that Otzelberger's first year, like out of nowhere? I don't know. It's a defensive identity thing. It's just an annoying team to have to play at first. Like, you haven't seen anything like it yet, and it's frustrating. I don't know if I'm beating a dead horse here. No final thoughts on this game?
I didn't have anything really. I love this game from a viewer standpoint, but honestly, from a betting standpoint, I didn't have a lot on it. Honestly, the whole playing thing kind of just like made me just want to stay away completely because I really don't know what the hell's going on there with that. But I think the right plays Houston.
I'm gonna do Tennessee, Louisville next. I'm interested in the chat if people are on this game and what they think. I think it's a very interesting game. Louisville has obviously been great vibes with Pat Kelsey, has brought so much energy to that program. They've looked very good in all scrimmages in their first game. just looked super crisp, moving the ball a ton, a bunch of shooters, a bunch of depth, old team, chemistry's there. Youssef is on Louisville. Anyone else on Louisville or Tennessee? Tennessee, on the other hand, Tennessee, Louisville. Oh, they absolutely will be. Those fans have been starving for non-Kenny Payne basketball.
We're rocking. Yeah, this is the biggest game at Louisville in how long? I mean,
3 years.
There's a ton of pressure on Pat Kelsey for this game because you don't want to send your fans home today upset because like a lot is riding on this game, honestly, in my opinion.
Ian, here's the crazy thing. I'm not sure that is true. Because hear me out. We look at this Tennessee roster. Let me switch to my Camp Pop tab. Like, can we just talk about who we've got here? First of all, Akpara is banged up. Nick, can you talk about what you've heard about Akpara?
Yeah, he has what is labeled as a serious hip pointer. I mean, it clearly bothered him game one. He did log 25 minutes, but I mean, only 2 points, only 1 block against Gardner Webb. That is very concerning, in my opinion.
Akpara is like their best physical energy big. Like it's such a, like, you don't have Toby Walk anymore. Like you don't have Jonas Haydu anymore. Igor is a good player, like the Virginia than Charlotte and Tennessee, but he's also more of a finesse big. Like he took 153s last year, and then Estrella's fine. He's fine off the bench. Like same with Cade Phillips, but like Akpara, I think is a really key player on this Tennessee team, a really key player. And if he's not himself, that's a big knock. And then you look at the rest of the team. Yes, Chaz Lanier is awesome. I buy the hype on him. I think he's a really good shooter. I think he's going to score the basketball effectively this year. Zakai Ziegler is so gritty. Like, he's super quick on the ball. But I still just don't – there's still this Tennessee thing that has led to their failures in the tournament. I understand they made the Elite Eight last year with Dalton Connect, of course. But there's still this Tennessee thing of, do I trust some of these guards to – Vescovi's gone. But do I trust some of these guards to create the end of the shot clock? Do I trust some of these guards to be consistent shooters from deep? Zakai Ziegler was 0 for 6 in the opener. In the NCAA tournament last year, he shot 8 of 27 from deep. That is less than 30%. Jemiah Mashack is in his 4th year at Tennessee, and he's only made 26 threes. Like, these are not proven good shooters in this backcourt. And I understand that we think Tennessee, like, we still see Ziegler there, like, Gainey, Mashack are good perimeter defenders. We're expecting, Rick Barnes' defense to just be very good. And I'm not saying Tennessee's not going to be good defensively this year. I think there's a drop-off from how good it's been the past few years. They're right now, they're 7th, like 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 5th. Like, they've been insanely good at defense. Like, that's where they've hung their hat. They had freaking Dalton Connect last year to bail them out so many times. And early in the season. I don't know if you guys remember last year, they went to play at Carolina. Their defense was not really super figured out yet. And Dalton Connect had 37 and like was 9 for 9 on twos. And like, there were just games like it's like you only have a few guys who are shooting threes and you just have some guys that are just not trustworthy 3-point shooters. And yes, Louisville is like, I think it's hard for us to understand how good this team can really be. But like, I don't know, man, I buy it. Like, I like the way they play. They have a ton of guys. It's all guys who have been in winning programs before, who all like are really excited. There's just something really exciting about what's going on in Louisville. They all move the ball so well. Everyone can shoot threes. And Pat Kelsey teams always are really good at offensive rebounding. And if Akpara is not, like, look at these offensive rebounding numbers the past 5 years for Pat Kelsey. Like, if Akpara is not himself, is Tennessee going to control the glass? Gardner Webb out-rebounded Tennessee in the opener, by the way. Gardner Webb, I will repeat that, out-rebounded Tennessee in the opener in Knoxville. Okay, Chucky Hepburn is in for a rude awakening with Ziegler on him. Like, maybe, but it's not like Chucky Hepburn is, like, the only initiator on this team. This team has hella initiators. They got Rain Smith from Charleston, Javon Hadley from Colorado, Terrence Edwards from James Madison, Corin Johnson from Washington. They've got so many different guys who can handle the ball. It's not like it's Chucky Hepburn is just running the show here. Chucky Hepburn is a cog in the machine. And you've got bigs like Waterman and Pryor who stretch things out. Like, I don't know. I think Louisville's really good. I think it's going to be popping in the Yum Center. I don't think Tennessee is as good as the numbers reflect. I think I don't think Tennessee is as good as they've been in the past couple of years. I have my questions about the backcourt shooting, about Akbar's health, / just like, I mean, he was good last year for Ohio State, but is he the anchor of that defense like Jonas Aidoo has been? I don't know. I got questions.
Yeah, that's where I am. I think there's two ways of looking at this game, and the first one being like I do think that Louisville could have some problems at the rim, defensively versus good high majors. But again, if Agpar is not 100%, and he's not like a typical post up score in the paint big anyways. It's mostly pick and roll lobs, which if he's not 100% again won't be as effective. I don't think they can exploit Louisville in that department. That's the biggest thing. And then on the flip side, like you said, I just don't think this Tennessee is vintage Tennessee Rick Barnes defense. I think there's going to be a drop-off in that department this season. And Dubar, they'll be better when Dubar comes back. He's unlikely to go today as well. He didn't play in the opener. So they're not at full strength. The total is high. Like, we haven't talked about this total. It came out 153, got bet up to 157. If this game's flying up and down, that favors Louisville 100% in my opinion. I think that we'll see them score a lot. They'll probably be pretty efficient in transition. And, yeah, I like Louisville here, as does everyone, because the number was – I think opener was like – I think Tennessee was laying 2, and now Louisville's 2-point favorite. So, I mean, big swing, but I don't think it matters. I think Louisville wins the game as well.
It's a one-game sample size, and I'm going to go back to James, I didn't even realize that was you, by the way. What's up? Happy that you're here. So – another thing I want to point out, though, is, like, even if Ziegler is harassing Hepburn, right? Like I said, they have so many ball handlers, and it's a one-game sample size. But guess what? 5 turnovers in the opener against Morehead State. Like, for a team in their first real game together with all new guys to turn the ball over 5 times, that's very impressive. That's very impressive. For a team playing with pace, too, very impressive. Look at how many guys attempted threes. Look about how many guys got assists. This is a balanced team that was put together very thoughtfully. And it is going to be juiced up. And this is a big arena. The Yum Center is like an NBA-ish like arena. They're going to be juiced up. Pat Kelsey is an energizer. If they're going to crash the offensive glass like they always do and take care of the basketball and shoot a bunch of threes, this place could be electric. I will say, I don't want like my bias from getting in and out on Kansas last night to shape my opinion too much, that I like continually am betting first halves like too much. But I do think Louisville first half might be a good angle here, because I feel like those guys are going to hit a bunch of threes at the beginning, and like they're just going to be absolutely jumping. Like, maybe Tennessee settles into that game more and the physicality starts to wear down. I guess one concern I have is, Pryor, Waterman, even Scott to an extent, they're a little thin in the front, just like they're.
That's what I was just talking about. Like, but Tennessee is not the type of high major that could really expose that, and that's the issue.
Exactly, like it's because they're not playing back to the basket. Is what you're saying. I just meant more from a rebounding perspective. But I'm like, if Gardner Webb can out rebound Tennessee, then
Gardner Webb also shot like 56% from 2, which is pretty concerning in my opinion. I just don't think the rim defense is there. I think Louisville can score pretty efficiently from all 3 levels today, because they have players that can score from all over. So.
Okay, I haven't officially locked in Houston and Louisville, by the way, but I'm definitely leaning those ways, and I'm thinking about it. Let's get into Baylor, Arkansas. I was actually surprised that this is the line, to be honest, like considering how good Arkansas looked in that scrimmage against Kansas, and like they were pretty good against Lipscomb. I know Jonas Aidoo only played 7 minutes in the win against Lipscomb. Excuse me. How are you approaching Arkansas, Baylor? I feel like you like Baylor, don't you?
Yeah, I played Baylor. I really don't like Arkansas very much. Arkansas only against Lipscomb, they only scored 0.67 points per possession in the half court versus Lipscomb. You had mentioned Aidoo is not 100% yet. He only played 7 minutes. I would expect him to log a little bit more today. But I still think they're pretty thin in the front court, dude. Like, I don't think Trevon Brazil is necessarily – like, I just think Baylor has the advantage with Ojowana and Omir over Big Z and Brazil. The Arkansas assist-to-turnover ratio was another thing I circled. Game 1 that was really concerning. They only had 10 assists to 12 turnovers. Again, that is not great against Lipscomb. And and they forced Lipscomb into 26% turnovers, or 25.6% to be exact. Baylor has good guards. Like they have good guards. Like they have Roach and VJ, and I think Langston Love's going to be back today. I talked to our boy Kendall. I talked to him, and he said that Scott Drew was telling people that Langston was going to be 100% for game one, but because of cardio, they kept him out. So he's 100% healthy. So I don't know if that means he's going today or not.
That's weird.
Very weird.
I listened to a presser and Scott Drew joked that Langston Love has been a game time decision for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty true. That's why, like, I don't put any stock in him going today. Obviously, if he does go, like, it helps the depth department out a little bit because their bench is a little thin. But let's be real, like, Gonzaga is Gonzaga, and they mopped the floor with Baylor. I mean, at the end of the day, Baylor shot 14% from three. That obviously is not going to happen again today. Obviously, Arkansas is not going to run sets and have continuity like Gonzaga did. Like, it's just a completely different playing field, in my opinion, here. And I just don't look, Ken Palm has Gonzaga, I think, defense like 7 right now. And Calipari hasn't been top 10 defense in a minute. So I'm not buying that.
Our defense is 7? Yeah, what the hell is that? Is that just because Jonas Adu came over? And because they were good under Muscle?
I'm really not sure, but that to me is way off.
All right. Here's what I'm thinking. Generally speaking, also make noise in the chat if you guys have an opinion on this game, please. I'm curious. I think
I don't. Hold on. I'm just looking at lines right now.
Okay. So with Baylor and Gonzaga, I'm willing to just fully throw that game away. I understand there were things that looked concerning for Baylor of like, oh, what's going on? Are we playing Omier at the 5? Like, I like Celestine at the 4 and Omier at the 5. I like that look, but people were just kind of concerned about just the general fit of Baylor and like Scott Drew's ability to coach defensively. Like it was just like a lot of freaking out. I feel like I'm willing to chalk this up to Gonzaga is an absolute juggernaut, especially on the offensive end. And it's a really bad matchup for Baylor because Gonzaga, in terms of post-up frequency and effectiveness, is top 3 in the country. You don't face that same thing with Arkansas. While Big Z and Brazil are skilled and have some perimeter skills, they're not guys that are going to do what Braden Huff and Graham Ike did on the interior. And that is where Norchat is at his worst. And like Ojuwan, like that is where Gonzaga was able to get Baylor. I understand. Like a lot of the 3-point looks came off of that. And also I've talked at length about how good Nembhard is in the pick and roll. Obviously, like I don't know if Arkansas poses that same problems. I think Baylor has a very focused week of practice, right? This is nothing like you don't go and schedule Gonzaga in Spokane and then Arkansas on a neutral your first 2 games. Like Scott Drew knows what he's doing. Like he's throwing these guys in the fire. Like Rob Wright, VJ Edgecombe, these freshmen are super talented. They're going to get better. I think this is a spot where they're going to be extremely focused going to this game. In Arkansas with Calipari, it's a lot of still freestyling. And I know Boogie Fland looked like a god in that scrimmage against Kansas. And I love Janelle Davis and DJ Wagner looks better. It's still free flow in a way that's a little disorganized. It's a little bit – go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's a big work in progress for Arkansas right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. And, they shot like trash against Lipscomb. Let me share this tab. They shot 4-19 from deep. Like you mentioned, their points per possession in the half court. The talent's there, and I definitely have in my head how good they looked in that scrimmage against Kansas, but it was a freaking scrimmage. And, like, I listened to Scott Drew and Norchat Omier and Rob Wright yesterday's press conference, and they just seem very relaxed and focused. It's like, it's not a big deal. They're like, yo, Gonzaga's filthy. Like, they kicked our ass. Like, whatever. Like, we're moving on. We can beat Arkansas. Like Jeremy Roach, like Jaden Nunn, Edgecombe, they can settle in and I think guard these guys one-on-one a bit in a way. And in Arkansas, like, these guys like to settle. Like, Janelle Davis is a tough shot maker, but he's a tough shot taker. Boogie Fland is a tough shot maker. He's a tough shot taker. And
again, 6-7 points per possession versus Lipscomb. Like,
that's concerning.
Fully backs up everything we're saying from the standpoint of like their offense is not going to be smooth. It's going to be tough shot after tough shot.
Right. And Jonas Adu is the anchor of your defense. He's the anchor of your defense, and he is clearly not himself, or this wouldn't have been the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Z is super talented. He's fun. He's a little goofy. Like I like him out there. I'm a fan of him, but like There's a reason he still was playing such limited minutes in Kentucky last year. He's still very raw. He's still figuring some things out.
He's very acceptable to getting bullied still. And I mean, Amir's huge. Ojowan is huge. Like, the guy can get bullied. I just think from the standpoint, this is the ultimate, like, don't overreact from game one. This is the ultimate, like, show some pride. Like, Scott Drew probably annihilated these guys in practice. The very next game's a big game. You have to come back quick and ready to go. I'm pretty sure the game's in Texas too, so that should help. Short travel for them. That should have more fans there. This is just, man, you just got to get up and play this game and be at your best. Like, you can't go out like you did against Gonzaga and repeat that. I just can't imagine that happening either against Arkansas.
DeRosa, I think that's a fine bet, but low-key, the thing that gets me most excited about this bet, I think Baylor's going to be able to guard much better than people think in this game. So
I do as well.
Baylor on the number.
I think that Baylor can win this game with defense, not just offense, honestly.
Totally agree. From a coaching perspective, from what we saw from Arkansas, I definitely think that is the angle. Austin Wells, is this Austin Wells from the Yankees, by the way? If it is, that's cool.
This total is 1 point lower than Louisville, Tennessee. Isn't that pretty crazy?
Of the Baylor Arkansas game it's 1 point total in the Tennessee game.
It's 155, and then the other one's 156.
That's interesting.
Isn't that crazy? Like, that's just so different than last year, man. Like, I
expect the Louisville game to be way faster.
Yeah, the portal's just changed stuff so much, man.
Yeah, so definitely leaning Baylor. I would have liked it to have been closer to a pick 'em, but I understand why this is. If it's in Dallas, I understand why this is the number.
There's a lot of sharp money on Baylor too.
Right.
I think it's like out the 4 now. So,
man, imagine if Baylor was ranked 16th and Arkansas was ranked 8th. I wonder how much like that would have impacted. Because I wonder how many people would. I feel like early in the season, there's a lot of people who care about that number a lot versus the fact that they lost by 4. I wonder how many people.
I mean, isn't I'm pretty sure Louisville's unranked. Tennessee's like 12.
No, that's. I mean, the market's definitely gone sharper the last couple of years, especially, and people love. I feel like there's obviously the level of fish that's like they see the ranked team and they take them, but there's a lot of people who it's like, wait, what? Louisville's unranked and they're favored? Like, got to take them.
Yeah.
The next one I want to get into, I saw someone mention this game earlier, is the freaking Northwestern Wildcats 4.5 on the road going to Dayton. Who was it? Was it Ryan who wanted to take Dayton? Make some noise if you have a pick on this game. Nick, I'll let you go first. How are you approaching?
This is your game, not my game. You can go ahead. You can take it over.
All right, Ryan, tell me in the chat why Dayton, and I'm going to verbalize why Northwestern is my play of the day today. Northwestern was picked 16th in the Big Ten Conference preseason rankings. Wow, it's not Austin Wells from the Yankees. I'm shocked. I cannot believe the disrespect Northwestern's getting, right? I understand the Big Ten is super deep, right? But and as good as Boo Buie was last year, you don't take Boo Buie and Ryan Langford off that team, and that team is a bad Big Ten basketball team. Northwestern has been coached so well the past 2 years. Chris Collins was like, people used to hate on him so much. He has done such a fantastic job with Northwestern. This freshman, KJ Wyndham, is really good. If you don't know who he is now, he's a smooth lefty, 6 assists in his first game, can shoot the ball. Like, if you don't know who KJ Wyndham is, you're going to know who he is very soon. Jalen Leach played 4 years at Fairfield, very solid guard, a very underrated ad in the portal, nothing crazy. But, dude, Ty Berry's back. Ty Berry is a knockdown shooter. Nick Martinelli went for 26 and 8. Brooks Beinharzer, I expect to be playing in this game. Nicholson, Luke Hunger, just like they look like just dusty, slow-footed white guys out there. But like I'm telling, these bigs, they're really good defensive bigs. They're so connected. They take care of the basketball. They're efficient shooting from deep. They move it well. You had 3 different guys with 5+ assists last game. And they have a giant chip on their shoulder. So Chris Collins, after the game, they asked him about having a chip on your shoulder, being 16th, and he goes, "I guess Boo Buie and Ryan Langberg won all those games last year, and you guys had nothing to do with it." Is what he said to his team. I feel like people can we remember what Marquette was last year without Tyler Kolek and Oso, something like that? A team that has really good chemistry can make up for guys not being there. And you've had plenty of time in the post-Boo-Boo era. You bring in an experienced guard in Jalen Leach. KJ Wyndham has some juice. Martinelli's gotten better. And you've got a little bit more depth than you've had in the past couple seasons. And Barnheiser, if he's not there, does it change my cap for this game? A little bit, but not a ton. I would love to have him there, but it doesn't fundamentally change everything for me. Dayton, I have some questions with. You bring back Santos, Cheeks, and what's his face? The Bennett. Dayton loves to shoot threes. They against St. Francis. They went the first 7 minutes of this game without attempting a 2-point field goal. Zed Key comes in from Ohio State. All right, we got a hater in the chat. Zed Key comes in from Ohio State where he was banged up a bit, and Northwestern's seen him before. Northwestern's always been good at defending the post. Whether they want to double or stay solid with Hunger and Nicholson, I think they will be able to handle Zed Key. Malachi Smith is a really good player, but he is still kind of easing back. He's just missed so much time due to injuries. Posh is just a little chaotic. He's a great defender. I get that. I don't know. I just feel like Dayton's going to want to shoot a bunch of threes. Posh is just a little chaotic, and I don't think they're going to have a problem dealing with Zed. I think Dayton is just overrated to start the season. They're 30th right now in preseason camp. They were 32nd last year, and they don't have Deron Holmes anymore. And they don't have Kobe Brea anymore. So I don't think Dayton's nearly as good as they were last year unless Zed Key is just like a god in the post, which maybe he'll be really good in the A-10. I don't see it. And Northwestern, I just think is criminally underrated time in and time out. They're a team I had circled that I want to buy in early, and I'm catching 4.5 on the road against a team that I don't think is better than them. All about Northwestern today.
Yeah, Chris. Also, since 2022, Chris Collins is 21-11 as a dog ATS. So
say that again.
He's 21-11 ATS as a dog since 2022. So he's pretty good in the underdog role, I'd say.
DeRosa says the roster mate. DeRosa is probably just tired of Posh because he's a Butler guy. But no, I do.
It's kind of right though. Like this Dayton roster's, in my opinion, it's nowhere near the Dayton roster from last season.
I totally agree. I'm debating if I want to take the 4.5 or if I want to take them to win outright. I definitely think they're going to win this game outright. I just believe in Northwestern so much. I'm very in on Northwestern. I think 16th in the Big Ten is an absolute joke. I think at worst they'll be like 9th or 10th.
They played last season in Northwestern, and it was a really slow paced game. That pull that up on Ken Palm, Chris.
Yeah. Oh shit, I wasn't sharing the right tab.
Yeah, so they played last year. I think Northwestern controlled the game for the majority of that game. And like, look at that Dayton team, dude. I know Boo Booey's not there still, or Langberg, but my God, dude, that Dayton team was so much better.
And they shot 12 for 23 from deep and lost.
Yeah,
they shoot a ton of threes.
That's what it's going to take today, in my opinion. If they want to win this game, they just have to kind of go crazy. So I think Northwestern's a much better team.
Look at this: 15 turnovers to 7 turnovers, and then you got 17, 6, and 7 from Holmes. You got 15 from Brea, and I understand Bowie had 15, but I don't know. Northwestern is just a team that I've had circled that I want to back early. I think Dayton's overrated. Sometimes it's that simple.
Yeah, I don't think Zed. Like, are we scared of Zed Key?
No. I think Zed Key is good, but he's a little slimmer now, and like it's still like new. You think they're gonna feed him all the time? Like I love the way Northwestern defends the post. Like I'm just not.
I just look at it like I like Zed Key because he transferred to an A-10 school and he'll be good against A-10 schools, but now he's back to playing a Big Ten school.
Right.
So I'm not buying it.
And I think it suits Northwestern well that they've seen him like a handful of
times. Oh yeah. It's nothing new to that. Yeah, Nicholson's plenty fine guard. Yeah.
Real quick, another Big Ten team going under the radar. I think Nebraska is one of the most underrated teams in the country. Nebraska goes like 9 deep. They beat UT Rio Grande Valley by 20, who Creighton needed a 50-piece from Cal Craner to beat. Bryce Williams had 27 in that game. Worcester, the Utah transfer, who is super under the radar player as well. He played really well. You're bringing Connor Sejan off the bench. You're bringing Gavin Griffiths off the bench. I love Hoiberg. I love little Hoiberg, the son. Juwan Gary can defend. Like Braxton Mee is 7-1. I don't know if I want to even worry, like just because there's more exciting games to watch. I don't know if I want to bother about having to monitor this game. But Bethune-Cookman lost by like 35 to Texas Tech, who I also like. But I think this is, if there was one team on a big number today, I like Nebraska minus 24.5.
Yeah, I thought that was like out of all the big spreads that I quickly glanced at today, that one definitely stood out the most out of all of them. I agree.
Any thoughts on this game, Washington, Nevada? Also in the chat, if there's a specific game you want us to talk about, we went through the main four. Let us know. We'll probably go for another 15 minutes. I would play.
Sure. Let me look up last season because Sprinkle obviously at Utah State played Nevada. I think Nevada had their number last year.
Oh, real quick.
And Nevada beat Utah State at Utah State by 14 last season.
Say that again?
Nevada beat Utah State at Utah State by 14 last season. So obviously big win. It comes down to Davison's really mobile. And I think Osabor he just struggles with their actions when you get him moving away from the rim. I watched the whole Washington game versus UC Davis. Dude, and I did a write-up on it. And like I said before the game, T.Y. Johnson for UC Davis is the best guard on the floor. And he was. Like Washington just has no guards. And the Kepneg Osabor dynamic didn't look great together. Osabor looked really tired down the stretch. Like he was exhausted. Dude, he had a horrible airball on a free throw.
You don't believe in DJ Davis? I like DJ Davis. I know he played like ass.
He's not, but he's just not that good, dude. He's not like
your boy went for 35.
The guards, yeah, he went off. That's why I said he's the best guard on the floor. Like Washington should have went out of the portal and got his ass. I don't understand how they picked out their guards this year. But at the end of the day, I just don't love Nevada enough. They have a really good player, Kobe Sanders, but he's a Cal Poly transfer. He's
Nick
tough.
Davidson's good too.
Nick Davidson's good. I just don't, dude. There's a lot of roster turnover for them. They had a good win. Like Sam Houston State is really solid.
Bro, Xavier Ducell from Wyoming. I forgot.
Yeah, no, that's a good. Oh, wait, did he play for Wyoming last year? Click his name. I think he played for Fresno last year. Yeah, he played for Fresno.
I'm saying I remember he was on like the Grammy came out not.
Yeah, he's good though.
That's interesting. Someone in the chat asked about Arizona against Old Dominion. I'd be lying if I said I knew anything about Old Dominion, but
bro, I don't know.
Tommy Lloyd's been very good against the spread at the beginning of the season.
I don't know who is steaming up these Arizona games because they took a ton of steam game one versus Canisius. I don't remember what the opener was. They definitely didn't cover the closing number. But I just don't see it with them this year in these blowout games. They were a great ATS bet blowout games the last few years, but
Twins fan, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous about this Michigan game Sunday.
Wake's done. They're finished, Chris.
Tell me why.
I mean, have you watched their two games? Buddy, they scored 60 points on Colorado State.
It has
they were horrible. North Carolina A&T was up like 10.
I know. It has not been good, especially because Wake was so good last year at home. I like what Spillers is doing. Parker Fredrickson was like ice cold to start.
Yeah, he's looked bad. So is Cam. Cam's looked bad too, man. And Efton's looked lost.
Dude, Efton always looks lost. Cam.
This is like a new level though. He's like even more lost.
Cam just. I know he plays super hard, and I'm supposed to like him because he's been here for 4 years, but like.
He's just not good.
And dude, Hunter Salas isn't a point guard. And I understand maybe the thought process is at the next level he would be a point guard. I disagree. I just don't think he's a point guard. What he does best is attacking out the triple threat from the perimeter. Oh, I forgot Cole's Dayton fan. No, you're not. You're losing Northwestern. Put it in pen. But anyways, like it's just a little bit clunky without having like I wasn't a big Boopy guy, but
and Boopy's going off at SMU right now.
He's playing really well right now at SMU. I think Tyler Johnson has to be a thing for Wake to be.
Yeah, I do agree. I still love Wake Forest long term. It's just right now, dude, they look bad. Like the exhibitions both went poorly. Both their first two games went poorly. They weren't close to covering either of them. And
dude, Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf, like Spillers is great, but he's still much smaller than those guys. And I don't trust Efton's gonna foul out in the first.
Oh yeah, Efton's gonna be. That's what I'm saying. Efton Reed might play 10 minutes.
If I can hammer Efton Reed unders,
Oh yeah,
I would do
that's
it.
a good point because he ain't even been on the court.
He will not
What
be on
if Efton went 0 for 2 from 3 again? Bro, why does Forbes let him shoot?
Dude, I don't know why Forbes lets him shoot. I
I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
And
I have
dude,
no
they
idea.
don't just miss. I can say
He
this
had a-
as
he had
someone
a
who's not a
horrible
good
airball.
three-point shooter. There's a difference between missing a three and just like not even being like his threes don't ever look like they're going in. Like they don't, dude. He's not a good shooter at all. He catches it, he jacks it from up here, and it's a prayer every time. It's never like a good miss. I swear, he's not a good shooter at all.
This
The
is
same way,
this
I'm
is
like mad at
the,
Hildreth for shooting threes. Hildreth has bad. I understand he's like was shooting 40% the first month last year. Like I don't want to be a full hater, but like some guys are just missing. Like when Parker Friedrich misses a three, it's like all right, that probably could have gone in. He's a good shooter. I don't know.
the
I
only
just-
thing that wait, Arizona State won yesterday, didn't they?
They did. I did not take Santa Clara. I
Yeah,
stayed away.
that's the only thing that scares me in this game is like Arizona State was so bad, and you knew like they had potential, and they finally brought it out yesterday. I feel like the Wake is like the same boat. Like they have this potential, and Michigan's looked great in their opening game versus Cleveland State. But I still think if Wake Forest plays at their best, like their A game right now is better than Michigan's A game.
And I think they'll get up for it. I think there is something to be said of you're going to play a neutral site, even though it's still in North Carolina, and you're playing Michigan versus how up are you for Coppin State when you got everyone glazing you that you're so sick and you're the third best team in the ACC when you really haven't earned shit. You haven't made the tournament in years, and everyone's glazing you like all these national guys like, oh, like Wake Forest is Hunter South, like they're gonna be freaking the 10th best team in the country. It's like you guys are just trying to be hot and spicy. Like I'm sorry, as like a Wake guy,
at the same time, they did get beat by Bama by 30 in exhibition. West Virginia beat them. So like, there's so many red flags at Wake Forest right now, dude.
There are red flags at Wake Forest, and it kind of bothered me when the hype got so crazy because I think Forbes finally has depth. Like you don't have to throw Matthew Marsh out there anymore. Like Churchill Abbas is like a solid guy, and we don't even need him to play. Like Juke Harris like is really exciting. Like Omaha's been fantastic. Omaha's been probably the most impressive player so far.
You see Juke Harris's like step back Dirk looking shot he had at the top of the elbow. That was a nice little shot. He's tough. I like Juke Harris. Like I think he has a bright future.
But I don't know. It bothered me. Wake might get humbled by Michigan. I think maybe there's a chance they really get up for the game and play. I don't know what that line's going to be, by the way. I think Michigan will probably by maybe Michigan by a possession. I don't think the fact that it's in Greensboro matters that much.
Yeah, if I had to bet this game, dude, just based off what I've seen, I just don't trust. I'd have to bet Michigan. I'd have to.
I still think Wake has enough juice to figure it out long term, but
for sure.
But definitely some concerns to work out. And like there are just some guys that frustrate me on that team. And I'm absolutely, if there's books taking Efton Reed points and rebounds unders, that's gonna be my pick of the day. I'm not even kidding. Also, you make a good point about Arizona State, Santa Clara. Santa Clara looked awesome against St. Louis, and I really wanted to take them just because I'm like simple logic. I like Santa Clara; they're good. I don't like Arizona State; they're not good. And I stayed away. And you want to know why I stayed away? And I'm proud of this. Do you remember what team Arizona State swept last year? It's a team I liked.
Oh, no.
Utah. They swept Utah, and shit, they beat them. Okay, no, they went 2-1 against Utah, and it was in certain games where Arizona State had like significantly more athletic guards. They look good all of a sudden because they can actually like create some pressure defensively and like offensively things come easier. So that was my concern with Santa Clara. It's like Arizona State is still a high major. They still have like a guy like Adam Miller. Like they have athletic guys in the backcourt, and I thought they could cause problems with Santa Clara, who's good but still a WCC school. So I was happy I stayed away from that. But you make a good. They looked like such an easy team to fade.
Nah, I passed because I mean, dude, Carlos Stewart going 0 for 8 against St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like to me is very concerning. I don't know what he did yesterday. I didn't pay close attention to that game yesterday. I don't know if he played better yesterday, but
that's wrong. Idaho State did give USC a good game. Interestingly enough. Why isn't the Santa Clara game in Kimpom?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. There's also no box score, I don't think, on ESPN.
Stewart had.
Yeah, there's no box score on ESPN.
That's weird.
Damn, Stewart went off.
Tyree Bryan didn't do anything. He played well against St. Louis. All right.
Johnny O'Neal stunk again. Wow.
Gonna hop off here in a few minutes. Thank you guys for joining. We still have some rest to shake off. Obviously, first stream of the year. We're gonna bring some guests on this year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And obviously, there's less data to go off. Fact, like you guys know that Nick and I are very film based. It's like we like to basically talk about the teams that we've watched and know a lot about. What?
Wow.
Damn. I mean, it says he had 6 points.
What the hell's going on with the stats on this game, dude?
Did Arizona State even win? Can I confirm?
Yeah, are we sure Arizona State even won? Like Santa Clara must have won by 20 or something.
Interesting one here. I know some people like UNLV, like the Thomas is really good. Interesting getting Memphis at plus money. I understand it's in Vegas. Yeah, shut up, DeRosa. What are you talking about?
Guys got us in a blender over here.
Providence, the Big East needs some blowouts in their bag. Like that's just going to catch up.
The Big East looks horrible.
The Big East has not been good at all. Providence needs to blow the doors off Stonehill today. Seton Hall should do the same to Fordham. I'm not sure they will. Anything else interesting?
I'm going to fall into a trap, Chris, of betting Villanova versus St. Joe's, I think.
I'm betting St. Joe's.
Actually,
Dude,
St. Joe's.
I have a tough time going against Nova though, because just Eric Dixon is so good. Like, did they cover the number against NJIT yesterday?
Yeah, they covered big. It was a good response game, actually. I was surprised.
Well, dude, Columbia was hitting everything.
I mean, St. Joe's lost last night to Central Connecticut. Central
Connecticut gave Providence a good game. Yeah, dude. As much as I want to hate on Kyle Neptune and stuff, like Columbia was like 24 or 26 from the free throw line, and
Columbia is pretty tough.
They shot 70% on twos. Is that because they don't have rim protection? I mean, Boyke can get up. He only blocked one shot, but I don't know. I understand why everyone blew up about Villanova losing that game, but they still might not be as bad as that game would imply that they are. They might be stupid. Also, Kentucky. I want to talk about Kentucky quickly.
I can't believe
yeah, we should have bet them. I think Kentucky's really good. Kentucky and Louisville are kind of similar, ironically.
Yeah, Kentucky got steamed today. This is a good spot for another blowout. Bucknell's off a OT win in Indiana.
Kansas State started super slow against New Orleans and ended up covering a big number. But there's still some weird things going on. I've heard that Doug McDaniel's in the doghouse a little bit, which is why he's coming off the bench. He's still playing. They need to figure that out, though, because they need him as that lead guard initiator. Vermont bounce back. Merrimack hasn't played a game yet. That's weird. College basketball is so weird. Why haven't they played a game yet?
That's crazy.
Also, I don't know shit about Rice, but Florida State, I don't trust at all. I think Rice, don't be surprised. I think Rice beat them a couple years ago. UConn numbers are obviously huge, but they were 36.5. They won by 36 last time. That's why
the State is probably a good bet. If Freddie Hicks is still out for Tarleton. They got smoked game 1 to SMU. They looked horrible.
Who did? Tarleton did?
Yeah, Tarleton looked horrible. SHSU is actually pretty solid. They're pretty good.
And then this is that one other one that I'm thinking about.
The other good game today is UNLV Memphis, but
What about Boise San Fran? I'm surprised that this line opened at Boise minus 4.5.
Yeah, I like San Fran at the opener, but holy shit, it's only 1.5 now.
Who?
Wow, that line is actually 1.5 now. Wow.
Can you tell me about San Francisco? I don't know much about San Francisco.
I mean, they lost their guy Mogbo, but besides that, they're okay. They're okay. I don't know. I liked Cal Poly game 1. I should have bet Cal Poly plus 20. Very easy cover.
Dude, Boise looked pretty good against Oakland. I'm surprised that's the line.
I was on Boise last year when they had San Fran at home. They were laying 4 and they covered. Barely though. San Fran gave them a really good game. So it is a revenge game for San Fran. So there's that. But that's about. I didn't have much on this game.
All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck today. Make sure you're following us both on Twitter. Make sure you're following the Psychic Hoop page on Twitter so you know when we're going live. We might mix in some weekday stuff as well. Can we get some good lucks in the chat? for people. Let's have a day today. Thank you, Twins fan. We know we can always count on you, my man. Yes, Yusef's in on it. Who else? Make some final notes. Yeah, of course. Hope everyone has a great Saturday. I'm gonna end this now.
The streams will be better.
The streams will be better.
I'm in a kitchen and a living room at the same time in Florida right now. I'm trying to move. So
all right. Peace out.